everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Jennifer and Diamonds. I am Jennifer. If you're new here, welcome on in, and I hope you enjoy your stay. So today we are going to do a WIP and Chat. So last week I didn't, well, first let's explain. If you don't know, WIP stands for work in progress, and we're just gonna chat, or I'm gonna chat, and you can listen, work on your own WIP. Doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to be diamond painting. It could be whatever you're working on. You don't even have to work on anything. You can just listen. So last week I didn't do WIP and Chat. It really wasn't much that was happening with me. There's still not really, but I think I can fill at least a little bit of time, keep you guys a little bit entertained. But I did do a month in review for August last week instead. So today, so let's go over some of the stuff that I'm using today. So this is some new putty that I got. I actually did a little mini small shop haul video earlier this week. I think it was earlier this week. Days go by so quickly, they kind of mix together. But this is the autumn leaves scent, and that's what I have. I already have it in my multi-placer. I'm gonna smell it again because it smells so good. It's it almost has a hint of like cinnamon. That's so good. So that's what I got in my multi-placer. The storage set that I'm using is my 30 bottle Art Dot storage case, which I have an unboxing for that on my channel as well. I have a little cover minder who's just sitting here because the plastic I have is actually underneath my tray. So he's just here keeping me company. I got that one from Temu. And then I just have some Dreamer Designs wax I'm using in my single placer right now. I got tweezers just in case I need them. And I don't have any, I usually use this tip for ABs, and I don't have any in this diamond painting, but I also use it to straighten. I find that one's easier to use to straighten than this one. And I just have a little dish for any trash that comes along. This pen I got from Temu. It came with a whole bunch of different multi-placers, and then the single placer, they're metal tips, and they're like rose gold color. And then the tray I'm using is just the one I got from Dreamer Designs. So that is what I'm using for today. Oh, I need to, 1 second. I always use the GemFlow app to keep track of how long I am it takes for me to finish it. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so let's get a color in here, and we'll go from there and talk about what's happened over the last couple weeks. I'll give you some updates, and really there's not much too exciting going on, but I figured I'd try to find something to talk about. So like I said last week, nothing really at all happened. Like, I just worked and normal everyday things, watch TV, make supper, hang out with the family. So that's why I didn't do WIP and Chat last week. An update on Fynn, my dog. So a few weeks ago we had to bring him to the emergency vet. I talked about that in a couple WIP and chats ago. He is doing good. He's finished his meds and he is pretty much back to normal. He's barking at everything that walks by the house. You know, doing dog things. Back to normal. So that's good. Yeah, so he's finished his meds. The only thing he's still taking is, they gave us some, I can't remember what it's called, Flora something. It's like this powdery stuff to put on his food. It's like a probiotic thing just for his tummy, I guess. So he has to take that for a month, so he's almost finished. I think he only has like another week after that. I have noticed, because when everything happened with the issues that he had, we had to bring him to the emergency vet, because they figured it all had to do with an ear infection, really bad ear infection that he had, that was caused from food allergies. So we got him some new dog food, because I guess food allergies in dogs are usually based around like the protein, so like chicken, beef, stuff like that. So we got him, he was like on a chicken base dog food, and now he's on a lamb one, just to see if it helps. I mean, there is really expensive dog food out there that you can get for dogs that have food allergies, but we're gonna try this first and see if that works. We have noticed, because we have cut out all his treats. We got rid of all his treats. And what we've been giving him for treats now is actually cucumber. He loves cucumber, and it is super low in calories, but he loves it. It's so crunchy, he like goes crazy. He sees me bring out a cucumber, just slice it up for him, and he sits there totally attentive and wagging his tail. He absolutely loves cucumber. But since we cut out the treats that we were giving him, and we were giving him treats fairly regularly, like we give him like maybe one, and I mean one, like this, his favorite were like these sticks that were probably about this long, and like they're like cylinder, about like this, I guess. And he'd have like one during the day, and then every time we'd go to bed, he expected one. Like we used to call it his puppy crack, because he went absolutely insane over these treats. He would sit there or lie there in bed, totally attentive, and be drooling like crazy over these treats. But he has not had those treats since this happened. Like I said, we totally got rid of everything. But I've noticed, since he doesn't have these treats all the time anymore, and the most that he gets for treats is cucumber, he eats his dog food a lot better. Before, we'd put out his dog food in the morning, and he could sit there pretty much all day, like until probably about 3 or 4 or something, some days. And he wouldn't eat basically all morning and like part of the afternoon. But now, as soon as his dog food goes down, he gobbles it up. So that's interesting to see. So that's an update on Fynn. He's doing good. Like I said, he's back to his normal self, barking at everything and everyone that walks by the house or goes by the house. Although I have noticed he's gotten more into, since we don't give him treats all the time, he's getting into, I've heard people refer to it as counter surfing. Like before I used to be able to leave stuff on the counter. If I needed to, like, if I was making supper and working at the same time, I was running up and down the stairs, I could leave stuff on the counter and then run upstairs to do something quickly and come down, and he wouldn't touch it. But I cannot do that anymore because he will get up on the counter and try to get out the food. So that's something I have to watch out for. So there's that. So update on my uncle, who I've mentioned a few times. He has been battling brain cancer for over a year. It's terminal. He is still hanging in there. He was in the hospital for a while. But from what I've heard from my dad, my grandma was not happy with the way he was being treated. they were keeping him pretty medicated, but my dad says it's like 2 reasons for that. One, because of his brain tumor, he gets severe headaches, so they were keeping him pretty well medicated for the pain. But my dad also suspects part of the reason they were keeping him medicated pretty heavily was because he is not, like I've mentioned before, he is not being nice to the nurses, and they do not have time or should have to deal with being cussed at regularly. So my grandmother has taken him home. She finally got the doctors to release him to go home. My dad says my dad calls him Butterfly. He has these 2 things on his, one in each leg, if I understand correctly from what my dad was saying. And I guess that's where they're injecting his medication into, or giving his medication to. And because he's at home, my grandmother has to do it. There is a nurse that comes in, I think, once a day to check on things. But mostly it's my grandmother. And I guess Lately had told my grandmother, okay, this is what you do. This is the medication that goes into this one, and this is the medication that goes into the other one. And apparently, like the first night or something, she kind of messed it up. And I was talking to my dad, and I'm like, does it really matter? I mean, as long as it gets into his body, doesn't matter where it gets into his body. And that's pretty much apparently what the nurse told my grandmother. Like, it's fine. It's not a big deal. But they did color code it for her. So, I don't know, they were able to color code the butterfly thing or whatever it is that's on his legs. So there's like a red one and a blue one. And then they color coded the medication. So one's red, one's blue. So she just needs to match them up, and that's where they go. My mom has been helping my grandmother, at least keeping her company, because my uncle is pretty much out of it and sleeps a lot, so she goes and hangs out with my grandmother to help out and keep her company. So there's that. My uncle is basically now on palliative care. They're not doing any tests to see how things are going. They aren't like any sort of like blood tests or scans or anything. He's not going to be doing any more chemo. So yeah, he's on total palliative care, which in my mind means he probably doesn't have much longer, which part of me it's almost like a blessing, I guess, because like I said, he's been fighting this for over a year now, so it'd be nice for him not to be in pain anymore. So that's an update on my dog and then an update on my uncle. So those are the 2 medical things that have been going on with my family. My youngest, my daughter, has gone back to school this week. So she, on Monday, it was a holiday here in Canada as it was in the States. And I think maybe some other places as well. So it was Labor Day here as well as in the States. So she didn't have school on Monday. She started school on Tuesday. But what they do with her high school, she's in grade 11 now. And her school goes from grade 9 to grade 12. So what they did was the 10s, 11s, and 12s went to school on Monday just to get situated, Tuesday to get situated. And then they had Wednesday off, and then they brought the grade 9s in on Wednesday, so they weren't totally overwhelmed with, because there's probably about 1,500 kids in my daughter's school. So, you know, get them orientated and not be too overwhelmed. Although my daughter has a friend that is going into grade 9 and was messaging her and saying, am I going to get jumped? Like, she was terrified apparently of high school. And there is fights. I mean, it's high school, so there is fights that go on at her high school. I'm pretty sure it goes on every high school now. When I went to high school, I went to a Catholic high school, and that wasn't one where it was like super strict or like you didn't have uniforms or anything like that. It was just I don't know. It was a Catholic high school, and nothing happened at the school. But that has changed. I have heard that it's getting just as bad as public high schools. They don't have Catholic high schools here. And where I went to school in Edmonton, or when I went to school for high school in Edmonton, you had a choice of, and it wasn't any extra cost really. You could either go to a public high school or a Catholic high school, or even like they had it for elementary and junior high too. So I went to a Catholic high school. My two boys never went to a Catholic school either. They did for elementary and junior high, but they didn't for high school. They went to a public high school. But like I said, here they do not have Catholic high school or Catholic schools at all. They're all just public. They do have French immersion and English because the province I'm in, New Brunswick, is considered bilingual. So there you do have a choice between going to French immersion or English. So she started, so she went on Tuesday, and then she had Wednesday off, and then she went back Thursday, Friday. They messed up her schedule. She found out before school started. She got a copy of her schedule ahead of time, and they messed it up. So she had to go in the first day and get it fixed, but because it was late, like as in everybody else had their schedules, she didn't really get a choice. Well, she did, but she didn't get a choice of what she actually wanted for classes for the ones that they messed up. So she got to pick what was available. She seems to be happy with it, so I guess that's fine. Hopefully next year when she's in grade 12, they don't mess up her schedule, because I think it's a little bit more important in grade 12, but I guess we will find out. That's still like a year away, so. So she started school. She seems to be enjoying it. She said she wants to get more involved in school activities and, you know, school spirit and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so that's an update on my child. Let's see, what else? I'm still waiting on my Dreamer's design order to show up. I don't know, maybe I have too high expectations, but I feel that in 2023, it should not take over 2 weeks. It's probably going to be, by the time it gets here, probably 3 weeks for something to go from the US, go across the border, and be delivered to somebody in Canada. If it was coming from overseas, Europe, Asia, or something, I could maybe see it, but it's not. It is coming from the US. And I don't know if it's coming via horse and buggy or what, but I ordered this thing was it 23rd or 24th? Let's see. I ordered it on just a second. I'm just looking at my emails here. So the 23rd or the 24th? 23rd. I ordered it on the 23rd. And I got notification the next day that it was shipped, but you know, that's just when they make the label. So I'm like, whatever. And then it's just been slow ever since. It, for a while there, it was saying that it was on its way to the, I can't remember what it was, like basically the warehouse that it's supposed to go before it goes, gets shipped to Canada, the export warehouse, and it took 4 or 5 days just to do that. Yeah, I don't know. It's just been taking forever, and I'm really not impressed with that. Like I said, it's 2023. I don't understand why it has to take so long. Like I said, if it was coming from overseas, fine. If it was coming from like Asia, Europe, Australia, okay, it has to come across an ocean. But even then, it'd be flown, so it'd probably be here freaking faster. I'm really annoyed. So yeah, so I'm still waiting for that. Hopefully this coming week. Because last I heard, what was funny though, it finally got here to Canada. And it came in through Ontario. Totally makes sense. Ontario is a big major province. You know, it has our capital and everything. I totally understand. But then the next notification I got saying, okay, so I live in New Brunswick. So Ontario is 2 provinces west of me. So there's New Brunswick, there's Quebec, and then there's Ontario. On the other side of us, to east of us, is Nova Scotia. So this package apparently went to Ontario. Totally makes sense. But then it's going to Nova Scotia. So it is going past me, only to come back. But I mean, that's been, I think I got notification of that on Wednesday, that it was in Ontario, and then it was going to Nova Scotia. I have a feeling this is definitely being driven. So, okay, it probably got to Nova, if that's the case, it probably got to Nova Scotia on Friday. I still haven't seen it actually be accepted there yet, though. So I'm hoping, like I said, I am hoping that it gets here next week. Wednesday will be 3 weeks since I put the order in. Yeah. So there's that. And then, so every week, right, Dreamer Designs and Diamond Art Club, the 2 big, huge, major diamond painting companies out there, really, in my mind anyway. I'm sure there's other big ones too, but those are the big ones in my neck of the woods, I guess. And so they put out every Saturday, and Diamond Art Club also sometimes does Wednesdays. They put out their new diamond art kits. So lately I've been noticing that Dreamers Designs usually has about 4. Oh, my dog's barking outside. And Diamond Art Club usually has like 8. There's always something on both of them that I want, but you know, can't have everything. But this week, one of I think it's Richard Lorenz. He does those really cute, funky looking birds. So one named Purnell came out today, and I had to have it. Had to have it, so I got it. So I ordered that this morning, or this afternoon, my time, along with, been wanting to get my mom one of Mandy Manzano's angels. So I got one called In the Arms of the Angel, I think it's called. I had that idea when I knew my uncle wasn't doing very well, and I have a feeling he will not make it till Christmas, so I wanted to get my mom. I am not a religious, really at all. My parents are, so I thought maybe she would maybe get some comfort out of an angel painting after her, I'm assuming, since he's not doing so well, he will probably pass before Christmas. I don't know. So I thought maybe she'd like it. So I got that for her as well. Because it was my first order with Diamond Art Club, and they have a coupon code you can use for first orders where it's buy one, get one 50% off. And I mean, I could have gotten something more expensive to get the 50% off on, but yeah, I wanted to get that angel one, and I wanted to get Purnell, that funky looking bird. What is this? It's called Purnell. What is the whole title of that one? It's like this big long title, something about the light being on but is loose or something. Let me see. What is that thing called? Where's my emails? Not it. That's not it. This one. It is called Purnell. Lights on, but the bulb is definitely loose. I love that guy's birds. So yeah, so that one has actually already been shipped. Again, it's just when they make the label. I don't actually expect it to move anywhere until Monday. It does look like it's coming DHL, and I kind of joked with my husband it'd be really funny if that one actually shows up before the Dreamers Designs does. We will see. I will laugh my butt off if that happens. I can see it happening because DHL is super fast. It's definitely should not take 3 weeks. So I would not be totally shocked if it gets here before the Dreamer Designs, which is kind of sad. So yeah, so I'm trying to think what else happened the last couple weeks. I gave you an update on, oh, right, yes. An example of Fynn being back to his old self. Although, like I said, he usually can leave stuff on like a table and him not really go after it. But a couple days after I started this canvas, and this one I forgot to mention, this is a canvas called Skull. I think it's just called Skull, and it's a Make Market kit. I do have a unboxing of it, and I'm doing it for a few different events. Drills and Chills, Diamond County Fair, and one called Fall DP Along that's in one of the Facebook groups that I'm in. But yeah, so I had a couple days into me doing this. I had this on my table here, and I had my case open like I always have it open. And I have, like, there's a lot of black. There was 10 of these packages of black. So I just have them on the like the lid side. Well, I went to my room for a second. I went to lay down for just a second, and I hear this rustling sound, and I'm like, oh God. And I'm like, what is Fynn getting into? And I come in here, and there's Fynn. He had gotten up on my got up on my desk, my table here, and he gotten at the drills, the packages of drills. And I have it here. I put it in a little baggie. Yep, he broke one open, and they were all over the floor. And because, you know, dog, there was dog hair all over the floor. Because I hadn't recently swept or vacuumed in here. So I did, you know, shoo them away. I believe I got most of the drills off the floor. But right now they are covered in dog hair. So right now I have 2 of the pouches in here. One of them I'm not sure he broke open, but just for the safety, I just put it in here. One of them he definitely broke open because, like I said, there's drills all over the floor. So I put it in there, and those ones are going to, like, last resort to use. I'm going to use the other bags first. And then if I have to, I will try to figure out how to get rid of all the dog hair that's in with the black. Positive side is I saw somebody on one of the groups, Facebook groups, I think it was Drills and Chills. There was somebody else that completed this one, and they mentioned, yes, there is 10 bags of black, but they only had to use 8. So hopefully that's the case, because I don't have to worry about any of those drills that are in that little sandwich bag. Because there's only 2 in there. 2 bags in there, so I should hopefully not have to use them. So yeah, that was fun. I was not happy with that dog. He has never done anything like that before. He's 3 years old, almost 4. He'll be 4 in October, like next month, and he's never really done anything like that. I've been able to leave things on my desk and him not go after it before. I don't know what it was with these drills that got his attention, but he wanted them. It was fun, I kind of chuckled though, because I brought him down, like I went downstairs, because he went downstairs after the fact, and I noticed he needed some water. So I got him some water, but he must have had a couple drills on his tongue, because I noticed that there was a couple drills at the bottom of the bowl. So when he was getting the water, they came off his tongue. I wasn't too worried that if he did swallow them, they are super tiny, so I don't think it would hurt him in any real way. If anything, he'll just, you know, when he goes to the bathroom, they'll come out. So I wasn't worried about him getting sick or choking. They're so tiny, and he's such a big dog. I wasn't too worried about that. It was more just him getting into stuff he shouldn't be. So nothing really. My husband, he works for a big major company in this area. Right now he's just a contractor kind of thing. He's like a temp, because that's how they do things with this company, is they first hire you temporarily, you know, see how it goes, and then through a temp company that actually, the main company that he works for actually owns. They own a lot around these parts. But they had an employee appreciation day yesterday. So today is Saturday. So at work yesterday, they had a big employee appreciation day. So it's a big office building that he works in. They own the whole building. Because they have a lot of different divisions, because they own a lot of different, it's basically one major company owns all these little companies, and anyway, so they had this, and they had, you know, barbecue, and at first he thought it was just hamburgers and hot dogs. He did find out later, no, there was chicken, kebabs. They kind of like had a variety, because they have a lot of different nationalities that work there, so they try to cover off food from a variety of different nationalities, I guess. And so they had that, and then they had a bunch of like little games, I guess. Like the only one he really mentioned to me was, because he You know those guessing games where, you know, there's a bunch of jelly beans or something that are in a jar and you have to guess how many are in the jar to win a prize? Well, apparently you're really bad at guessing. He's, you know, if I would have maybe divided the number that I guessed, I might have been close. He like way overshot it. But he had fun. They had a lot of giveaways, and I mean, these giveaways, like I said, this company is huge. They own a lot of things around where we are, all across the Maritimes, and so they were giving away trips. And I mean, some of the ones my husband mentioned was some hockey, because, you know, Canada hockey. So there was, I guess, a choice between Montreal or Toronto, and it would include airfare for 2, I believe, accommodations, so hotels, 2 tickets to one of the games, either Toronto Maple Leafs or Montreal Canadiens, plus spending money. I guess another giveaway was similar thing, but for Boston Bruins. There was 2 tickets to anywhere Air Canada flies, including Hawaii. Yeah, there was $1,000 gift cards for like groceries. There was big number gift cards for big major oil, like gas station out here in the east, stuff like that. So yeah, he didn't win anything big like that. He did win something. What was it? Oh, he won 2 tickets to the local, which is not a major NHL team, hockey team. 2 tickets to that. So that was pretty cool. He won something. Then they also had a golf tournament that was part of the Employee Appreciation Day, but it was today. And you didn't have to participate. You could sign up, and I guess there was a $30 sign up fee or something, which is still really good. Round of golf for $30. So my husband likes to golf, and he thought it would be a good way to like meet some new people from the company, because like I said, he works in a big office building. He knows only a fraction of the people that work in this building, so he got teamed up with 3 other people that he never knew before. He did find out later that his boss, one of his bosses, she actually enters this tournament every year, but when this email went out about this tournament, she was working from home. So, and when she came back to the office, apparently she had originally been looking for a 4th for her group. What didn't realize my husband golfed, so they had found a 4th before she came back into the office, and found out that he was going to be in the tournament too. She's like, "Oh, I wouldn't know. We would have used for you as the 4th." But anyway, he had a fun time. He went out there super early this morning. He left the house at like 7 o'clock in the morning. They served breakfast. He played golf. They gave him like a bag lunch as well. I think it was a sandwich, some chips, some bags of cookies, and some water or something, like in a brown paper bag for lunch. Like I said, he had fun. He got to meet one of the big head honchos, I guess, yesterday. One of the owners. This company is basically owned by a big family. So he met one of them yesterday. So like, yeah, it was pretty cool that they did all this stuff. I kept on telling him, because I said he's a contractor, and I worked once at a big corporation back where we used to live, and I worked in the building, but it was kind of like him, where I was a contractor. It was basically another company that employed me, but they did work in the building for this bigger company, and almost every time that they did something for this big major company, we were not included. And I don't think it was really the big major company that held us back. It was the actual company that we were employed by that didn't allow it. I don't know, they had like a policy about like no kickback type thing, and I guess they thought of this as a kickback, you know, being included in different events or something. God forbid you should feel included. I was very happy when I left that company. And I told them that when I left. So basically you felt like a second-class citizen. And it was, like I said, it wasn't the people that worked there in this major company, a major corporation, that made you feel like that. They were very nice. It was the company we actually worked for that made us feel like we were second-class citizens, not even allow us. Even for Halloween, we couldn't even dress up. That was partially for safety reasons, I suppose, because we worked in the mailroom. But it was still annoying. We could still have costumes that didn't have things that would get caught. And I mean, it's not like we're, I don't know. Still a sore spot, apparently, for me. So yeah, I was telling him, you know, you're lucky. Like, you're technically a contractor. Technically, yes, this company that you are a temp, sort of, I guess, contracted through, is like owned by this major corporation, but also technically you work for this other company. So it's very nice that they included you in this stuff and didn't make you feel like you were a second-class citizen. So yeah, so that's basically what's been happening with us the last couple of weeks. I have been I know I brought this, I'm pretty sure I brought this up in my first WIP and Chat. It's very hard to get my boys who are across the country to keep in contact with me. I try. And actually I've been putting in extra effort the last couple of weeks. Because usually I try to like get a hold of them maybe once a month. But I'm like, no. And I've been like texting them every few days. And one of them finally did get back to me and apologize, like he always does, saying that he's busy. But I don't know. I understand. He's 20-something. He's busy, but I'm not sure I understand. And maybe I was the same way when I was his age. Like, thinking on it, like now I talk to my dad regularly, like at least once a week, sometimes a couple times a week. But I do remember times when I was like in my 20s and I very rarely contacted my parents. And it wasn't because there was anything wrong with my parents. I guess I didn't really think about it. But it now that I'm the parent and my kids are doing it to me, I feel bad that I did that to my parents. Like, I got upset the other day, laying in bed, and I was getting upset because I'm like, was I like a bad mother? It's like that. Like, did I do something that I don't understand that I did, that they don't want to be in contact with me? You know, it's hard. And I don't think there's anything. Like, I mean, I wasn't a perfect mom. Sure, I did some things wrong, but you know, I told them regularly I love them, hugged them, you know, made sure that they went to school, and, you know, I hung out with them when I could and when they wanted to. I don't know. It's hard. I know. They're grown up. They're their own people. They have their own lives. But like I mentioned in my first video, unless, like, I'm not saying if your parents were abusive in any way or just they're toxic people, I'm not saying keep in contact with them if it's not good for your health or mental health. But, you know, reach out to your parents once in a while. Just be nice. So on that happy note, let's see how long we've been going here. Let's see. Wow, longer than I thought it was going to be. I figured this thing was going to be like 20 minutes and it's being about 45. I probably do have to cut out some coughing that I did, because who wants to hear that? But yeah, so I think we're gonna end that here, because I am getting hot, because we've been going through, that's the one thing I didn't mention. We're kind of going through, I saw this meme thing on Facebook, and I don't remember the whole thing, but it was basically that we have like 12 seasons. And like it was, first it was like, one of the ones that stood out to me was like fake fall, and then second summer. Yes, we're going through a second summer. We're going through this little heat wave thing right now. So I don't have the fan on right now because I am recording and it is loud, so I am a little uncomfortable because it is pretty warm for me. I'm not saying like we're Arizona, Florida, or southern states warm, but it's warm for us. It's 30 degrees Celsius-ish. Well, it was today anyway, and yesterday, which is warm for us. So yeah, so we're gonna end this here so I can turn the fan on or go somewhere where it's cooler. So if you enjoyed this WIP and Chat, give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos, and I will see you next time. Bye!